Hi there, it's Kalyn with a Paper Smooches card tutorial. Today I'm making a Father's Day card using the Off the Charts set, the Chart Toppers sentiment set, and a sentiment from the Kinfolk set. And this card is going to be really fun and geometric, something that a math or science lover would really appreciate. So for my color scheme, I'm using Tide Pool and Corn Flower from Hero Arts and Limeade Ice from Paper Tray Ink. I thought this would make a nice color scheme. And then I'm taking some wood grain pattern paper. This is a little bit of an older release, but it's from the On Trend collection from Crate Paper. You could easily just take some cream cardstock and stamp or doodle your own little wood grain pattern if you don't have access to this exact piece. So I just trimmed that down so that it would fit inside of a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card base. And now I'm taking the pieces of the pie chart stamp and I'm going to be creating my own little pattern with them using those 3 ink colors. So now I'm just continuing to do the same thing. I've added a little piece of scrap paper underneath my card because I'm going off the edge of it and I'm trying to preserve my nice new clean Martha Stewart grid cutting mat there. So I'm trying my best not to get it too inky, so that's why I put a little scrap piece of paper under there, but it's just a good practical little tip to keep your workspace tidy. So now that I've got 2 of the pieces of my pattern down, I decided to stamp my sentiment next because I didn't want to continue on with my pattern and not leave a proper space for a sentiment since I didn't exactly have it planned out how I was going to arrange it. I thought it was best to just put my sentiment down where I knew I wanted it and then I could fit my pattern around that. So first I'm stamping down the You Are Awesome from the Chart Toppers set, and then I'm going to use the word Dad from the Kinfolk set. And I'm going to be using a walnut stain distress ink from Tim Holtz to stamp both of my sentiments down. And I apologize that the word Dad's a little off camera here, but I just stamped that one down first since that one was going to be at the bottom, and then centered the You Are Awesome sentiment right over top of it. I decided that I also wanted to add a little icon above the sentiment just to kind of make it stand out a little bit. So I picked this little male icon from the Off the Charts set and decided to stamp that in the cornflower color from Hero Arts. And I just think this finishes the sentiment nicely and just gives it a little bit more of a focal point, a little more weight in that bottom right corner. So now I'm just continuing to stamp that pie chart pattern and then I will move on to the rest of the card. after finishing my pie chart stamping that I wanted to add just a couple more geometric elements. So I picked these little arrows and annotation stamps from the off the chart set and just stamped them in that same walnut stain ink that I stamped my sentiment in. So it kind of just helps to bring that color into the rest of the card so it doesn't seem as out of place in the sentiment. But I also just really wanted to make these look more like diagrams and more science kind of math oriented, so I think they help do that. And then I decided, since there was a lot of open white space in between the pie charts, that I would add just a few other circle stamps. So you'll see me here just putting my scotch paper back down and then stamping a couple circles in the cornflower blue color and a couple in the limeade ice color. So now that I'm happy with everything I have stamped, I decided that I wanted just a little bit of dimension on this card since right now it's just one layer. So I'm taking the Paint Circles die set as well as some vellum and just cutting that vellum out of the smallest circle in the set, and I'm going to put those right over top of my pie charts. And the one on the top right, since that pie chart goes over the edge of the card, I'm just trimming down that pink circle so it fits. Then, to secure the vellum circles down, I decided to take some brads, and these are from an older Studio Calico kit. They're just a really nice kind of bronzy brass color. And then I only had 2 of those, so for a third element I decided to pick one of these stars from Basic Gray. They really look like a brad and have that same kind of rustic metal texture to them that plays really nicely with the walnut stain ink that I used. And they still have kind of a manly feel to them, so that's why I chose those. So for the star one, I'm just using a glue dot on the back of it, which you'll never see since it's right behind the star embellishment, and then just taking my paper piercer and punching holes in the center of those pie charts, attaching the brads, and then I'm going to also sort of lift up the vellum around them once they're secured down, just so that it gives it, like I said, a little bit more dimension and you can tell that it's a 3D element. Now I'm just taking my Tombow Mono Multi Glue and adhering down the entire card front to the base of the card. And that's going to wrap up everything for this project. So I really appreciate you watching. I hope that this gave you some ideas for a Father's Day card. And be sure to check out Paper Smooches for all the stamps and dies that I used. And subscribe to this channel if you want to catch all my latest crafty videos. Thanks so much.